for mature.
Welcome back, everyone, to another segment of To Industry. Again, I'm Mike Gaines. This is Hill.
The best.
Andrick.
The best.
He's missing his hat today.
Andrick is going all out straight gangster style. That's what
He is.
He's full hipster.
I was about to say full hipster with those glasses.
He's done. He's finally converted. I'm still converting. Mike is still a metalhead. So.
Yep. I actually listen to country now.
Oh, well, there you go.
I'm just kidding.
We gotta end the show now.
Fuck country. Anyway, sorry if you listen to country. I'm really sorry. But it's been a while since we've put out any video, so this is kind of just like a quick catch-up. So really, the only one that's been playing games is Andrick.
But I've been following the industry, so don't knock me too much. But we're going to follow Andrick's lead because he's big.
Oh, are we? Okay. Well, a lot of things have happened. E3 happened.
E3 did happen.
E3 did happen a long time ago.
This year.
There were some games over the summer. And all of that news has kind of left my mind.
Well, here's the thing, though, because now the crazy news of the video game industry kind of settled down, and companies have finally started making games, like legitimate games.
Or releasing games.
Games,
Finally.
I should say. Yeah.
Yeah,
Nintendo's even releasing games on
they are.
mobile.
They've had a pretty good run with their Amobis.
Amiibos.
So, Amiibos, there it is.
They had to make money somehow.
Yeah, they had to, right?
Because, blood donation going to you so far.
I've actually picked up a couple. I got some of the Yoshi ones. That's kind of cool. The little yarn Yoshis are cute. Hopefully they'll give me some money back. They're just in storage right now.
Somewhere on Etsy, somebody's already made them. And
Yeah,
they're making money off them.
exactly. So yeah, there's that. Been playing a couple games. Most memorable was probably started with Mad Max at the end of the summer.
Yeah.
And then it kind of led into, Halo 5 and Destiny, I think, came out, which I didn't get.
Well, let's start with some of the games and your reflections of some of the games. Like Mad Max, which is Grand Theft Auto in the desert. So.
Yeah, it was really good.
But
I mean,
better.
I was putting it under the B category of a game just to kind of get me into the good half of when the grade A games came out, and it actually is a grade A game for me. I mean, it for a first game, I think it's Warner Brothers Interactive did it. They did a lot of good things right, and it really did take up my time. I miss it actually. Surprisingly, it's a really really good game. If you can find it on the cheap, maybe a Black Friday sale or something like that, I recommend picking it up.
Yeah, a lot of people say they were really surprised that it took so long for them to create a game, for the Mad Max franchise, or more a modern game for the Mad Max franchise, because it works really well.
Yeah. Even the story was really really good.
Well, the guy that created Mad Max, he had his hand in the story.
Oh, well, there you go.
But-
Gibson?
I thought it was better than the movie. Surprisingly, I know a lot of people loved it.
Wow.
I wasn't a huge fan of the movie. I thought it was okay. But the game definitely brought me into the world, which I kind of hoped that movie would have done.
Well, I think that's because the game was it actually had some fighting, and it had
Yeah, actually, it had more action.
exactly. It wasn't just this long car chase.
Right.
Right.
Which is typically Mad Max.
Well, the last one was.
And it kind of brought you more into that character as well than the movie did.
And I think what it did is add more weight, because the video game added a little bit more weight to that character and what you took on compared to the movie. The movie was like he was kind of dragged into the situation.
Sure.
And he's like, "Well, shit, I'm here. I might as well deal with it," kind of situation.
Right, the reluctant hero type of storytell. So, yeah, it was good. It was a good game. It was really, really good. Probably one of my top games of the year.
And earlier, you said that it was also really cool being able to have a game that makes you want to collect stuff and collect everything, pretty much complete the game.
Yeah, in the desert. Usually, Assassin's Creed does that for me. In a way, you go around, you collect things, you complete missions. Kind of the same formula every year. I feel like Assassin's Creed kind of fell off that kind of collecting part for me. Just hasn't been innovative, and Mad Max kind of brought that back for me, and I thought that was cool.
And segueing into Assassin's Creed.
That's what we're gonna say. Yeah.
Yeah, Assassin's Creed came out again.
No way, really?
For
Took them forever.
yeah, right. For better or worse, it's not a bad game. I'm only a few hours into it. Definitely, they polished it out this year, which was the big concern last year with Unity.
Now, with that being said, because they come out with a new Assassin's Creed every year, and last year they came out with 2 at the same exact time,
Right.
do you think it's oversaturating the market, or do you think it was even something that they needed to do or keep doing every year? Like, do
Well,
you think it was actually a good?
I understand why they're doing it, but I think they should take a thing from like musicians, whereas like you release a couple albums at the very beginning of your career, and then you start to spread it out like every 2 years, every 3 years, because it builds that anticipation. So when that artist does come out with something, not only are your expectations really high, but then usually you have time to polish that. Right, and you get to bring new things, and you get to think about it. And it seems like they're just pushing it out every year. It's the same problem I have with Call of Duties and every game that comes out every year. Your sports games and stuff like that.
But here's the thing with that is like that dynamic I can kind of see working with Call of Duty because really they are focused on the multiplayer, right? And that's really what Madden is focused on and stuff of that nature. Assassin's Creed, they're so focused on the narrative and the exploration and all this stuff. I don't know if you can just keep pumping that out every year.
Yeah. Successful. Well, and with Call of Duty to its credit, it does have 2 different companies working on it.
That's true.
So you have Treyarch, and then you have, I forgot the other company.
Black Ops and regular.
Right.
Extra crispy and Modern Warfare.
Right. One is a little bit more psychedelic than the other one. But for Assassin's Creed, I think it would, to their benefit, I think they could do a new IP or even go back to an older IP and bring that back, and then focus just for, instead of, let's say, an Assassin's Creed, maybe they bring back Prince of Persia,
right,
or something like that. Just something to give them a little bit more like, hey, here's a new IP, but next year we've been working on Assassin's Creed. This one's 2 years in the works.
You mean how like every other developer does it?
Yeah.
Yeah. No. And just to piggyback off of that, what their focus on to try to keep it fresh is to put it in different environments every year. And I have 2 things about that. First of all, it's eventually going to get stale because they're going to have Asia. They're eventually going to have an African sure,
right.
Australia. Then I guarantee you they're going to have one like in space or some shit.
Probably.
And then they're going to run out of their options, right?
Right.
Style. Now, the second thing I wanted to point out is that it being in England during that time, for some reason, really, really works.
Sure. Industrial Revolution.
Right. And it really works more so than a lot of the previous ones because in England there were a lot of secrets. There were a lot of secret societies and all these things going on and kind of revolutions and things of that nature. So it worked. So it kind of surprised me. And I'm always reluctant when it comes to games being in an English environment because I tend to forget that there's a lot of hidden things.
Right. It's way older than America, so they have a lot of secrets.
Right. Yeah. Well.
And I think that's also what's really cool about Assassin's Creed. They know how to pick the timeline, that's right for the location.
Yeah, and they're opening it up. I mean, they have a guy and a girl this year, a brother and sister. They're twins, so they're opening it up, and it's just.
Well, they were like, we got to have a woman in here somewhere.
And it seems like it tends to be the trend this year.
Right.
It's not just with like Call of Duty. If you play Call of Duty this year, you can choose a guy or a girl. And it seems like most, like Fallout, I think you could always do that, but it seems like they're putting more emphasis on that this year.
And they should. I mean, they should just go balls out. Okay, ironically, I was saying. They should go balls out and just put the woman as a leading character.
They should.
And, just call it a day. And also, with that being said, too, I'm kind of interested how far they're willing to go as far as, like, I don't know, just other environments.
Now, with that being said, speaking about women being lead characters in video games, your favorite game that's coming out this week, Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider. But
Let's talk about Life is Strange as a female.
No.
That's
Yeah, we
that's
can
done
talk about
really
Tomb Raider. Let them build up steam.
you actually said something about the latest commercial that came out.
Yeah, I mean, it looked good.
Wait, what?
Oh, we're doing this. Okay.
I guess we are doing this. So one of my problems with Tomb Raider is because I'm kind of on the side of that. I've always liked strong female characters. I love how they're developing stories and things of that nature. You can go as far as Aliens to video games like Metroid and all of that stuff. And they really changed the dynamic of how Tomb Raider was going to be, coming from the past where they had like Lara Croft as this big boobed rich lady, right? And they wanted to make her more of a modern caricature of what a lead woman character really is like.
Right.
And how she develops as being a scared person to someone that grows in strength. That's what they initially tried to sell as the first remake of the Tomb Raider,
Right.
and I feel like they failed at that very badly because she didn't really have any growth throughout the whole story. So they're coming back with the second one, which is basically the rise of the Tomb Raider, right?
As we all do.
And I feel like I fell for the theatrics of the first Tomb Raider when it came to the trailers and things of that nature and the promotion, and I didn't like it at all. And with this one, it looks good again, but I feel like I can't trust it whatsoever. So that's how I feel.
Do you think it's going to be kind of like a Watch Dogs?
No, because Watch Dogs was really, really, really pushed. And Watch Dogs was ambitious. That's a difference. With Tomb Raider, there are other caricatures, like female caricatures, that they could borrow as a blueprint of how to build this character. And video games out there are what they're trying to achieve.
Right.
Everywhere from Uncharted to Prince of Persia and all this stuff that they can borrow from. But I don't know if they want. I don't know what they want to do. I honestly don't. I think what they're really trying to do is just focus on getting money from the Tomb Raider franchise. Because originally it felt like that they really wanted to show everyone that they can make a more dynamic Tomb Raider that's more real and things of that nature. And I feel like it fell short. There are a lot more serious games out there that showcases, a better human element, especially from a woman's perspective, and do a better job than what Tomb Raider has done.
I felt like they were going after the Uncharted market.
You think so, like directly?
Yeah,
Because you may have a good point.
Because the way I felt was that obviously Tomb Raider started the whole
Right.
Indiana Jones ripoff,
Right.
right? And then it fell off because it just wasn't really. It was an old system. It was a way of playing with puzzles and stuff that Tomb Raider kind of took and just rejuvenated it. And they took the whole Indiana Jones thing and made it their own, and obviously with some influences from Tomb Raider, the original Tomb Raider. Then Square Enix bought Tomb Raider, and they were just like, "Hey, this is the original series. Since they stole from us, let's go ahead and steal from them."
Right.
And but we have Lara Croft, which everybody loves, and obviously huge cosplayers out there, and people love her, just because she kind of helped revolutionize the video game industry. Just because she's been around forever, has movies and things like that.
So more of a money grab.
So yeah, money grab, and kind of going back after the core audience that some of them may have lost to Uncharted.
Right, and just to compare that to like Life is Strange, and that's probably not fair because their focuses are probably different, right?
Right, same company though.
Right, that's why I use that as an example, because with Life is Strange, they were really showing like teenage angst and when a young girl has to deal with such responsibilities and how she takes that on herself.
Right.
I don't want to steal your fire because
No.
And to do that very well, and then to have a very powerful property like Tomb Raider, and to just not do it very well, really is. It looks like a money grab. It looks kind of stank.
I can get it. Well, I think the problem, and to go back to your earlier arguments about Tomb Raider, which you can all see online.
Yes. My rant.
With rants with Tomb Raider is that they portrayed her in one way, and yet you acted out with her on a totally different way. So she's all weak and stuff, but then yet you're killing people in the face or trying to kill them in the face with arrows, and they're not dying. Yeah, you're supposed to be weak and scared.
Right, and she at the end is still kind of weak and scary and still.
Yeah, but she just killed a million
right,
people.
Yeah, and that development doesn't happen compared to say like The Last of Us.
Right.
You know, Ellie actually grows and develops into that type of person over time.
Right. She's not given a gun right out. Right.
Like
You find out
Clementine.
near the end of it, and she's only doing
like
it.
Clementine.
Yes, or Clem, which we all love. Clem, come back! Don't ever die. But yeah, it was kind of misleading in that game, and hopefully they did listen to us specifically and made this one better. As far as mechanics go, it was I was able to forgive it a lot more than my good partner here, Hill. And I think, but you liked it, right?
I believe
my other
that
partner.
Uncharted really took the dynamics of the previous Tomb Raider games to really set the whole new standard.
Right, but they didn't make him weak to begin off with, right? He was already a thief. He was already like knew how to use a gun. He wasn't reluctant to be who he was.
And maybe that was an added dynamic that they were trying to figure out. Well, I don't know. I'm just making up.
Well, I think Uncharted, for the most part, you knew who the character was within 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Whereas
he was already weathered.
Yeah, he was already Drake. You know, he already had a backstory. He wasn't trying to become who he became.
So, do you think it's maybe also just that they were having difficulty since they're taking a really well-known character and just trying to bring it up and give it backstory and just kind of change it and bring something fresh to it?
You want to go first? Or?
Go for it.
All right. And honestly, at the end of the day, I feel like it's this. And I could be totally wrong. There could be someone that's on that team that understands, but I think they really don't understand if a female was like to deal with that type of situation, how she would really grow. I think a woman would understand that dynamic a little bit better.
Right.
I think if guys are trying to create that mindset, right, they were able to adjust that change very easily. And you see that in a lot of games and a lot of other mediums as well. Some people can probably point out, they'll say, well, Samus or, Ridley and Alien, those are different because even though those are guy directors, Ridley is badass like from the beginning, right? And Samus...
Well, she became, right, in Alien, she wasn't really badass but in Aliens, she was obviously badass.
Right, she was already obviously badass. And Samus was always like,
yeah, she was a bounty hunter, right?
Yeah, she was a bounty hunter, like automatically. And Wonder Woman was already like, awesome, just straight out the gate.
Right.
But when you have someone that's developing over time,
they need to earn it, right? And she didn't earn it.
Yeah, and that growth, and people could probably argue me on this and could be right, but that growth is very different. I've seen an article on this. That growth is very different from a guy, what a boy or a man goes through when they're dealing with a certain situation compared to what a woman is going through in their perspective.
Right.
And I didn't feel like it was genuine, and it took me totally out of the story. So the story for me was thrown out. And then when they started getting into like the spiritual and psychedelic aspects of it, then I was just like, oh shit, we're reaching at this point. So it falls solely on the mechanics, right? I'm like getting through. I'm like, this game has to be fun. Mm-hmm. And then things were unreal where I'm fighting a character who has an arrow stuck out of his head that's on fire. And he's not dying.
As it happens in real life.
It's totally realistic. And I think at a point where I was just like, you know what, I've had enough, especially after this fight. So that's really how it was.
Yeah, but you are kind of a bit intrigued with the hype. Not. I mean, you're not gonna be fooled again.
I will not buy it. I will see it.
You'll see it.
Like for instance, like Uncharted 4, I'm buying.
Okay.
That's buying.
That's done.
That's done. Because, our theory that Uncharted 4, where it's like the end of that game.
The Last of Us.
Yeah, of how Last of Us.
Oh, that would be great.
That would be. Oh,
it would be nice and epic.
Just if it's not in there, just put it in there, guys.
It would be nice and epic. I hope they do something like that.
Like he makes a mistake and then this is started because they never mentioned what started it in The Last of Us.
Right. Now, although I believe though it did come out in Uncharted 3, somebody found like a frame where if you go over to a desk or something and you look down, there's a paper that says this outbreak started happening, and that was alluded to, Last of Us.
That would blow us.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know if they meant, obviously they were just hinting at other projects they were working on, but it would be nice if it was in the same universe or. So.
Yeah, but that's just going back to the Maze Effect. It's just that's kind of how my feel of it was.
Mhm.
And I think if it was any other IP, I wouldn't have had much of a problem with it. But
Sure.
for Tomb Raider, this was like their shot,
Yeah,
and they made it seem like hey guys, she's and that was the other thing is that she's like going through all this rigorous pain. She's falling off of rocks, hitting her head.
but let's
getting
say this
beat
though,
up,
you did play it on the hardest difficulty,
No,
right?
I'm talking about just the, I guess the quick time events.
Oh, yeah.
Just in general, like she's breaking her arm and going through all this rigorous stuff that freaking Nathan Drake is not even going through, and
She's killing 1 million people.
and she's killing 1 million people, and then at the end of the day, she's still like, kind of has this bitchy attitude, or it's just not becoming a
This is
stronger
teen angst. So,
right, teen angst. I'm like, this, there's incongruency
yeah,
there. So.
yeah. I was a bit more forgiving. I think Mike was a bit more forgiving.
I think I was probably.
But
the
what
most,
about Watch Dogs?
Watch Dogs, I was let down.
The biggest pile of.
It was complete false advertising,
Yeah.
as far as I'm concerned.
No,
Being-
they showed what it was going to be about.
Well, the mechanics weren't as good. There were all these glitches. I don't know. It just was.
The
like you said,
graphics were kind of a letdown. I think that's kind of
Yeah, they
known.
scaled it down.
It was ambitious.
It was a letdown. It was a letdown.
I guess segue to the next game.
Well, I mean, we were talking about what was the other one?
Life is Strange.
Life is Strange. I ended up beating 2 of those little kind of serial games this week. One was Borderlands, the other one was Life is Strange. Both did epically and amazingly. I couldn't say, oh god, they were so great. It's really sad to see them go because that's one thing you kind of look forward to every month. Like, hey, I'm going to get the next installment. The last one just left me on this nice cliffhanger. And I love games that do that. They do it in a way that they catch you up right before you start playing, so you remember everything, and they give you these new elements of the story. These were concluded, both very sad to see them go, and both very epic. So I highly recommend checking them both out. Even if you're not a Borderlands person, it's still
And
fun
it's
to be had.
actually- yeah, I've actually had a lot of fun. It's like really funny. I mean, I didn't think it was anything like Borderlands.
Yeah.
It's its own thing.
It's totally just like how the characters are developed and the storyline are totally different from Borderlands because the actual Borderlands is more of we're going to give you these set pieces so you can do something.
Right.
This one is carried by narrative.
And it's a first-person shooter.
Right, where the narrative in regular Borderlands is usually kind of told while you're fighting.
Right. While you're fighting.
This is, their fighting is definitely the last thing you really think about. The story is told, and if you're a fan of Borderlands, I mean, you're going to get a lot out of it because it does tie kind of the Hyperion storyline together in a great way. And Life is Strange, and I mean, it's just there's nothing bad about this game. It's something that I recommend anybody that's kind of into kind of an art type of game. Definitely just throw yourself into this game, and it's great. You'll have a great time.
And what's interesting?
I was gonna say, speaking about like other female characters, and she wasn't the main character per se, but Until Dawn.
Yeah. Are you talking about Hayden?
Yes, hated Panetera.
We love you. Come back to Heroes
Yes.
for just an episode.
Yeah, do what you do. Yeah, that's smart.
It actually did really well. They're thinking of doing, or at least I heard they're thinking of doing another Until Dawn.
Nice. From what I play, because I haven't beaten it, I only got halfway, a little past halfway, but actually it's a lot of fun.
It's a love letter to horror movies
Yeah,
of the
exactly.
80s, and it's a great love letter.
Oh, yeah.
It's like an overt parody.
Well, they pay homage to.
Yeah, I would say
Oh,
homage, not parody.
Oh, parody's bad. Yeah.
Parody would more be like, I think, Scream, where it's like
Right.
kind of making fun of the genre. This is or what's the other one? But anyways,
Oh yeah,
Scary Movie.
Scary Movie.
Scary Movie, where this is more of an homage to it. Like it takes all the tropes and you fall for it, and it's a great ride.
I actually was pissed off a few times because they do rely a lot on the cheap scares.
I don't
And
mind them,
I
That's the whole
actually fell
purpose.
for it a few times. I'm like,
Uh-huh.
God damn it!
but
Like
that's
with the raccoon.
And you know they're coming too. That's what's funny.
Yeah.
No, the thing that gets me is like whenever you have to like decide between who's going to die, and who's
Right.
not, right, and you basically pick the person, they switch it on you, and the other person dies. And you're like,
yeah,
Reminds me of. It reminded me a little bit of Heavy Rain.
yeah.
yeah, like it changes what you felt like was going to happen.
Right.
You have to. A lot of weight is carried in your decisions.
Right.
Yeah. And that's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
It's hard to do that in more action games, but in these type of games that are story driven, it's a lot easier. They definitely took some things from Telltale and probably even Life is Strange for all I know, but
Beyond Two Souls.
Beyond Two Souls, yeah, exactly. So yeah, it was.
Yeah,
just-
Ellie was in that. Ooh, shots fired.
Yeah. Yeah.
But oh, go ahead.
Go for it.
I was gonna say, so you haven't played any like Halo? You haven't played?
I have. Did the
Tales of Zestiria?
No, I wanted to. That those RPG games, the Fallout's, the Tales games, those are a lot harder for me to get into because those are 30, 40-hour games. Yeah, a frame of mind as well, and it's not something you can easily, or at least for me, I can't easily kind of give up and then go back to because you've got to learn the whole controls again. Halo's in the Call of Duties. I played Halo 5. I played Call of Duty. I'm kind of working on Assassin's Creed right now. Halo 5, 6-hour campaign. Not very. I didn't like the story very much. But multiplayer and the mechanics are spot on. Like you can't.
They're really tight. And when I was playing it with my friend, and he kind of looked at me when I said this, I was like, it seems like they're trying to. They're basically paying homage to like Call of Duty because there's a lot of things that they're taking from there as far as like accuracy
Mhm.
and detailed mechanics, which is very Call of Duty esque and implemented within Halo.
Yeah, and you have downscope now. I think that's something they didn't really have before
And
with all the guns.
added credits, and leveling up and all this stuff.
Yeah. Story though, man, this is where it lets me down. Like when 343 took over from Bungie,
I know exactly what you're talking about.
that Halo used to be about Halos, and I think I was telling Mike this earlier, and now it just seems to be about I don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
They're like, let's figure it out. We can't rely on Master Chief for forever, so we gotta reach out to something.
Yeah,
This is the Guardians.
yeah, it's just the story is just less to be desired. Like I just don't, I can't give it anything. I'm not involved, and I keep going into it wanting to be involved, and they just let me down. The story's just not there. Halo used to be about Halos and Master Chief. Now they're kind of mixing it up, and I know with Halo 2 they did this too, where part of the story was with the Arbiter. If you're a fan, I'm sure you know all this. But that's where the story fell apart in Halo 2. Like they tried to switch it up between two main characters, and it's like no, everybody wants to play Master Chief. Let them play as Master Chief. Let them deal with Halo shit. You can deepen that world, and they seem to be wanting to take it in this whole other direction, and in a story where I just don't like.
They could have did it like Metal Gear, because a lot of people are interested in really living the past of Master Chief.
Sure.
And kind of how he became Master Chief.
Yeah.
And they could have went with that dynamic, just like how they did Metal Gear.
Yeah.
Granted, I don't know if there's like a Master Chief dad or something to whatever, but they could have went in the past and started that storyline. But I think they're really trying to reach for it.
Yeah, and one of the things they did, which I completely disagree with 343 again, is that they released these cartoons showing Master Chief's past, kind of like what you said, but you have to get like the super deluxe edition or some shit like that. And it's like, come on, guys. I mean, like if you're trying to win people over, don't let them have to, pay even more money for something that you've obviously made. And I'm sure they may give it away for free later, but it would have been nice to be like, hey, here are some things that Master Chief.
You run the risk, and I don't know if video game companies realize this, but you run the risk of people either falling into burnout or like basically being like, you know what, I'm done. You guys are moving away from Master Chief, and this new story is not engaging with whatsoever,
Yeah.
then I mean, video gamers have an opportunity cost when they're not playing one game. They're going to choose to play another.
Well, it's not just that. I think the Halo people, it would take a lot for them to really get away from it because usually their friends play multiplayer and stuff like that.
Okay.
And so, if anything, they won't play the campaign; they'll just play the multiplayer, which is what Call of Duty has kind of run into. When most people just Titanfall. Well, Titanfall is only multiplayer, right?
Exactly.
So, but yeah, it's just it was less to be desired, and then Call of Duty just is Call of Duty.
And I guess wrapping it up, the last game that actually I think both of you played for a little bit was that movie called Metal Gear.
Okay, so all right, we'll go first, Hendrik, because I have a long soapbox.
On time.
No, hey, no, this is your Tomb Raider rant.
No, I just want to check on time on the
Oh.
camera, real quick, just to make sure everything's still working, and then we'll come back. Is that okay?
Sure.
All right.
All right.
we'll be
So I guess we'll come back
No,
with
it's
another
not
video.
okay. Nothing's okay.